Welcome to the PI Guy Case Study and Lessons Learned. My name is John Morris. I am a licensed professional private investigator. What is the craziest high-speed follow you have ever had as a surveillance investigator? Go down in the comments and let me know. In today's video, we will take a look at a nerve-wracking and crazy surveillance case I had way up in the mountains. Not in a city, not even in a little town. No, it couldn't be that easy. This residence was located about 2 miles off of a paved county road. Not just those 2 miles, but then up the side of a mountain about another 3 miles along a one-lane dirt county road. Got the picture? Wait a minute, it gets better. The driveway was about 3/4 of a mile, and it was just a little old dirt road that almost looked like a path. Now, to make things even better, you can't see the residence anywhere along any of the public roads leading up to the driveway. I did find a nice spot about 2 miles away on the side of another mountain where I could see the residence with a pair of binoculars. This spot was nice to verify if the vehicles were present, but not where I could sit and watch and then follow, because if my target went active, I was way too far away. In fact, I was on a completely different road. I tried to get the client to let me use 2 investigators, but they didn't approve it. It was really amazing. It would have been tough even with 2 gators. There was no cell phone signal up there. And maybe, just maybe, 2-way radios would have worked if we could have found 2 positions that were in line of sight of each other. So what was I going to do? Well, after spending several hours driving the sides of mountains on my recon, I came to the conclusion that the best thing for me to do was to park at a little mountain oversight parking area, you know, like where the tourists and the hikers pull off, and sit there and watch for his car and try to follow him down. Now, his residence is about 30 miles from the nearest town. About 25 miles of that is steep, winding mountain roadways. But it gets even better. It gets better. Just hang on. He has 2 vehicles, a Subaru and a white pickup truck. Now, if you are from Colorado and you do surveillance very much, you know how many Subarus there are out there and how many white pickup trucks there are out there. Now, to top it all off, there are 3 drivers at the residence: himself, his wife, and a teenage son. So I set up with my camera on a tripod at that scenic overview parking lot, pointing up the mountain at a hairpin curve in the road about a mile away, where I figured he'd have to slow down as he came down. Once I see him or a car that could be his, I figured I had about 2 or 3 minutes to react. Now, before I tell you what happened when the tourists got there, go down below, hit that thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button. That really, really helps the channel out a lot. Sure enough, other people started to stop by and enjoy the scenic view. It was really beautiful up there. The problem I quickly ran into was I had a camera sitting on a tripod, pointing up the mountain at a scenic stop. Yep, you guessed it. Almost everyone that stopped was wondering what I was looking at and what I was videoing. I quickly made up a story about the wildlife out in the woods, and I was just waiting to see if I could grab some video of some of that wildlife. Now, I had my binoculars, so it just appeared like I was spotting with my binoculars, and I could adjust the video camera if I happened to see anything. I also have Wi-Fi on my camera, so I could watch the screen on my phone, which was really helping me out a lot. Now, what I was watching with my binoculars was further up the road for vehicles coming down that might be our guy's vehicle. So I could then adjust my camera. But man, whenever I grabbed the video camera, boy, did everybody start wondering what I was looking at up on the mountain. It was really kind of funny. So whenever I saw a Subaru or a white pickup, I had to grab everything, get ready to follow. So I had to grab all my gear, load it up, and then wait. Now, when the car would go by, I'd throw mine into gear and I'd head down behind them. Now, when they went past me, it was on the opposite side of the roadway, going down with about a 2-mile straight road. Yep, they were going 50 to 60 miles an hour when they passed me, so the chase was really on. But wait, it gets even crazier. Once I started following a car, I usually had a few cars between us, so I had to follow them almost all the way down the mountain to get a glimpse of the license plate to see if it was even my guy's car. Then if it was, I had to go further usually to see if my guy was in the car or not. This went on for what seemed like forever to me. The first day, nada, nothing, zip. I saw his son in the pickup once, but never saw him come back. But I must have followed 20 cars that day. Day 2 was just about as bad. I saw the son leave in the morning and come back a few hours later. Then the 11th hour hit. Okay, it wasn't the 11th hour, but you know what I mean. The last hour of surveillance, naturally. Here comes a Subaru. This could be it. I grab my gear, I throw it into gear, I get ready. Now, before I tell you what happened next, do me a favor, go down below, hit that thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button. The car goes by, a male driver, a female passenger, and I was able to get in right behind them, and it was not my guy. I find a place about 2 miles down the road where I could safely get turned around. I get headed back up the mountain. I get about half a mile away from that scenic pullover, and here comes another Subaru. It's got a male driver. It looks just like the guy in my photo. I look at the license plate. It's my guy's car. I get turned around, and I get ready for the chase. Luckily for me, there was a lot of truck traffic on that road, so he got behind a slow truck, and I was able to catch up. But I had about 7 or 8 cars between us. He gets on the highway. Another luck for me. He's not in any kind of a hurry. Most of the cars pass him, and I was able to stay safely behind while I followed. He gets into town. He pulls over at a convenience store, gets out of his car, goes inside, grabs a gallon of milk and a pack of smokes, and heads back to his car. And then, yep, you guessed it, back up the mountain. Now, that was a very long drive for a gallon of milk and a pack of smokes, in my opinion. I follow him up the mountain slowly, staying behind about a half a mile back. Once I see him pull off on the road that goes towards his residence, I know I can call it a day. Day 3 rolls around, same setup. I'm a pro at this now. Same scenario, tourists stop, tourists ask questions, and tourists leave. Around noon, I see what looks like might be my guy's car. I get in a position, the car goes past me, and wouldn't you guess it, it's my guy and his wife and his son. The chase is on down the mountain again. This time his wife is driving, and she is a speed demon. Most of the road is 30 to 35 miles an hour, except for the straight stretches and the hairpins. She is doing 50 most of the time. The hairpins and the sharp curves are what slowed her down and allow me to at least try to keep up. But man, I felt like I was on one of those mountain races, my heart pounding and the squealing of the tires as I go around the curves. We get into town. They pull off at that same convenience store that my guy went to previously for the gallon of milk and the smokes. My guy gets out of the passenger side, walks around to the vehicle, fuels the vehicle. His wife and son go inside briefly. They all get back in the car and they head into town. First stop is a McDonald's for lunch. I go in with them with my covert camera, and I get tons of video as he stands there in line ordering, sits down, eats, walks to the bathroom, and eventually leaves and gets back into his vehicle. Okay, hang in there with me. It gets even better. Back in the car, the chase continues. They go clear across town, probably about 6 miles of follow in town. Then suddenly, she pulls into a parking lot. Now, I know this parking lot. It's a parking lot for a little medical clinic off of a side road. I know this clinic is really hard to work surveillance in due to the layout of the parking lot. So I follow, and I get out of my car really quick, like I'm late for an appointment. I go up to the door where there's a couple of benches there, and I go and I sit down there with my covert camera, and I wait. After a few minutes go by, here comes my guy's son. He's in front of his dad and his mom. He goes up and he opens up the door and he holds it open, and here comes my guy walking slowly up the handicap ramp, utilizing a walker and what appears to be a leg brace on his right leg. It looked like he could hardly walk, and his wife was helping him along the way. He goes in, then after a bit, I go back to my car and I find a good stationary position so I can get video when he leaves and enters his car. His medical was almost 2 hours long. He finally comes out with the walker, with the leg brace, with the son holding the door, with the wife helping him as they walk to their car, with the doctor walking and talking with him. As they get into the car, the son puts the walker into the back of the car, then they head out. The chase is on again. Next stop is a grocery store. I get all set up. I get video as the wife jumps out of the car. I get video as the son jumps out of the car, and I get video of my guy as he jumps out of the car, and they all walk into the store. No walker, no leg brace, nothing. I quickly grab a ball cap and I swap my sunglasses for my regular glasses, and I head into the grocery store. First stop, the pharmacy. Then a quick lap around the store as they filled up a couple of grocery carts with groceries and supplies. Then the wife and son check out. He goes back to the pharmacy. They all meet back at the car, and then off they go. The chase is back on as they head up the mountain. Lessons learned. Folks, never say never. I know there are some tough situations out there, but if you study it long enough, you will probably come up with a good plan to be able to get through it. Lesson 2, always do recon on your surveillance cases if at all possible. This one was about an hour and a half from my house, a bit far, but given the remote location, I knew that I needed to take some time and do the recon. I went up the day before and I spent probably 6 hours total working out a solution. With this client, I also don't get paid for that recon time, but man, did it ever make the difference. I ended up getting this very case back about 6 times over the next 2 years. So that initial recon paid for itself in dividends. Lesson 3, make sure you have a good guys to change into. I had already seen the entire family once face to face as I sat outside that medical clinic. Simple things like a change of a hat, glasses, put on a new shirt, something like that. This makes a world of difference. I also carry many extra shirts and jackets in my car. Bonus lessons, make sure that you have a good covert camera and don't be afraid to go in before the subject. Most surveillance investigators follow into the parking lot, get the video, then if able go inside. Now I didn't go into the clinic, but I got to the door before them. I was able to do that because I knew the layout of the clinic. But many times if I follow somebody to a store, especially a smaller store, I jump out before they get out of their car and I go inside with my covert camera. Now it just looks like I'm just one of the customers. Now go down below, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell. Here are 2 more videos that you will want to watch. And remember folks, stay safe out there.